Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So nice to have you here. Welcome to Fasting Space on this day before Thanksgiving. Really nice to dive in with you here. Make presence the priority. That's what I'm going to be chatting with you about. And of course, taking any questions that you have. It's your show. We take the discussion anywhere you want to go, but this is my practice that I am dedicating myself for time with family through the holiday here, making presence the priority. So gonna share some of my thoughts with you. Let's see. So I titled this, okay, make presence the priority, Thanksgiving weight loss path. This is the whole health journey that we're on. I haven't even been doing our countdown. We are counting ourselves down toward 2026 every day. And so here along the way, we got another holiday, the first big holiday. So here we were. "36, everybody, 36 days until 2026. And a couple of those, some holidays right now that we get to dial in on. So happy about this. We don't want to skip over anything. That's why presence so important. I'm going to give you a couple great quotes to help ground and center ourselves in today and in this week here. And sometimes it's good to look ahead, say 2026 coming. Sometimes we got to just make sure that we're staying grounded right here in this present space. I think some people said you're starting the cooking today, getting everything ready. We're going to be getting a bunch of stuff ready. Try to make the best use of the time we can. It is blustery, it is cold and blustery, and snowing in Madison this morning. Snowing sideways, basically, when I was taking my dog out. But yesterday was pretty nice. Well, it was warmer, but very dark, warm and dark, kind of gloomy. So I recorded, said, I'm going to get us another reflection space as I was thinking about presence. I've enjoyed doing this. So I was walking along this trail. Here we go. There was this little waterfall by this lake that I showed you the other day, kind of down from where I was showing you the ducks that I was filming. A little trail to this little waterfall. It's like 3 or 4 feet that goes down toward the lake down there. And I got there and the whole thing was flooded. I haven't been there in a year. And in the intervening year, some industrious beavers built this entire dam and dammed off this entire area, and it's flooded the whole path. And so the waterfall doesn't exist. It's just it's just a little stream now feeding into this beaver pond, I guess you would call it. I stood here, I filmed about 15 minutes of this gray scene. I was hoping that a beaver would swim by. I thought that would be fun, but it never did. But we can hang out here in this little reflection space as I give you some thoughts on presence today. When I say presence, when you're thinking of presence, here's a thought I was thinking as I was sitting there. Oh, presence with a C, presence, like presence that we give in a holiday. We're thinking as we're heading, especially toward the end of the year, Christmas, like, are we giving gifts to someone? Are we giving presents to someone? What does it mean, like, to have presence, to be with people? is definitely something. Having presence more than presents, if you see what I'm saying, is definitely something. And say, well, Thanksgiving, we don't give as many gifts as other holidays, but we can give a gift of our presence. Probably the best gift we can give. I think, doesn't this quote get at that? Your presence is the most precious gift you can give to another human being. Just think, like, there is a centering quote for time with family, time with friends. Give presence to people. This is what I'm going to try to do. Really dial in. I encourage everybody to do it. That's part of the health path. I was thinking as I was reflecting on this, calling it, okay, Thanksgiving weight loss path. We're talking food, fasting. To me, always two sides of the same coin. You'd be on a health path. You'd be even on a fasting path. Doesn't mean you have to do it every day. Fasting, very flexible. Many people treat it as rigid and dogmatic. To me, it is flexible. It just is openness. And food, of course, so important. Food is a tool to help us connect with people. Really helps us dive in, connect, be present. So we can be present with family. We be present with food. A lot of times, in our culture in general, we can have mindless eating. Like we're watching a show, food is coming in, we aren't really appreciating it. Here, like already you say, I'm already starting to cook on Wednesday. For Thursday, we're trying to really get everything. Make the best meal. Have the best food experience. So I say that's where we really want to bring in the mindfulness, the presence, so that we can really enjoy it. I always tell people I want everybody to just squeeze the maximum enjoyment out of good food that they possibly can. Absolutely. So here's the time to start getting into that mindset. And I'm going to lead us through a little mindfulness exercise later that we can kind of dial into that mindset even tomorrow, like to really center ourselves. Leave them both up. And then this quote, realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. I thought these were such a beautiful juxtaposition of quotes. Now is what there is. Make now the focus. Now is the primary focus in life. And then that's our presence. And so now, the time that we have, our life, our very life, that's, to share it with people. Let's not gloss over it. It's real, it's important, it's valuable. And so how do we dial in on that presence? Do you have this picture? I have this picture in my mind of somebody, here I got my phone, somebody is at dinner and they're doing this, right? They're scrolling. See, they're not really present. And this device, more than anything, probably, taking people out of the present moment. I don't know what your, family and culture is like, everybody different, but, considering some sort of moratorium on this sort of thing would help presence. That's what I say. What are the things that come to mind when you say, what are things that stand in the way of being fully present? What comes to mind? Maybe focusing specifically, like just like on the people who are here, let's not worry about other things. Like really dive in our intention. Who is here? What is important to these people that I'm here with? That is a centering sort of question that we can ask. Not social media, right? So if we're getting a phone away, right, put the phone away, help us to be truly present. I saw a study a few months ago. It was an attention study that was done, I think, in college students. I think I talked about this before. That just putting a phone on a desk where a college student is taking a test, like test scores go down, focus and concentration go down. Even if it's not on, just having it there. And so I think we said, I love this concept earlier this week. We said Thanksgiving isn't a test. A holiday isn't a test. We passed the test already because we're on a health track. We're moving in a great direction. This is actually part of that experience. Everything is a balance. We have fasting, we have food, we have whatever paths we're on. Our healthy movement, our positive food choices. We bring any of that into a day that we want, but we also give grace to ourselves to recognize, like, hey, this is really important space. Dial in, appreciate food. But social media doesn't have a good place in that. That's taking us away from presence. So I would say, can we get that out? Takes a little bit to decompress from that. Has that been your experience? Have you ever gotten on a track with that? You're like looking, it kind of sucks you in, and then you turn it off. You're like, oh, I want to know what is going on. What does this person say? Like maybe today we got to start winding that down, really. Like decompress the nervous system so that we can really have it out tomorrow. And then we're not thinking about it. We're like, oh, we're 18 hours out from that now. We don't have to think of that. And the same with news, like think about the things that people worry about, at holidays. I don't know what your experience is. You don't want to have an awkward conversation, a tense conversation with someone. Start bringing in, things that cause disagreements for people, some political thing. I was thinking about that just yesterday, that passage I read from our psychology book about avoiding the negative, about, okay, one negative thing comes in, it kind of it takes the mood down. So we were talking about hitting things right down the fairway, right? When I hit things down the fairway, we don't need to be heading down rabbit holes into like political things. People get so charged up on it. Hey, let's focus on the things that really matter. That's what I've been thinking about this week. We thought about that fasting wealth talk that is about building up health for ourselves. Our emotional health, our mental capital. Holiday like this, super, is about building that emotional, mental capital. We give ourselves every opportunity to do that. Maybe that means being aware, of the conversations and saying, oh, here's one. This one has a tendency to go political on us. And can we help them? Can we just steer that in a positive way? Can we say, hey, let's be really present here. We don't have to solve the world's problems. Sometimes that can be fun. Some people love it if you can do it. If your culture is, hey, I can do that and stay in a beautiful space, then I say, go for it. You do you. But if you know the history, you know the patterns, if you say, hey, this usually doesn't take us to a good space, we're trying to hit things right down the fairway. This is the sort of thing when I say Thanksgiving weight loss path is like, okay, we've prepared for this. Like people said on the poll, right? We said, feeling confident, we've got the plan, we know everything going to be okay. We're going to have a great time with food, and then we're going to have a great time with family. We wind this down into the weekend. We've got powerful tools that can balance these things out on a bigger time frame. Some people would stress out. They say, oh, this day, it was a bad food day. That's not a thing I would want people to think like. Not really a bad food day as long as you're feeling okay about it. Like, you don't have to intentionally, make yourself feel bad from overeating. Like, I would say try not to do that. See, that's not a good food experience either. We want everything into balance. That's why we plan for it. We know what is coming. And we got powerful tools to bring us back on track. Good morning. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Hope you are doing well today. Welcome. I don't know what your culture is in your family. In my family, we're going to be watching some football on Thursday. Packers are playing. A lot of people excited about that. I was thinking about our reflection the other day about these priming effects and the advertising and all the messages that are trying to get into our heads, control our thinking and thoughts. And so as we're thinking about really being present, I'm not going to tell everybody, okay, don't watch any TV, turn off the football. I won't say that. We're going to be watching some football games. That can be a good way, bring people together, can be exciting and fun. But the thing I will tell you is maybe just consider, if you can, just try to mute the commercials, Use the commercial breaks, shut off the influences as much as possible coming in, and use that to, reconnect in those breaks and really dive in so that you don't spend 3 hours go by where people didn't talk to each other. Use that as a place to connect, if that's your thing. I said think games over movies if possible. Movies great. Movie can be a great way to connect, but I would say if we're focusing on maximizing presence, maximizing our social interaction time, trying to connect, think games over movies. At least try to get it in there if you can, even if it's hard to do. This is the type of thing that might move toward more connection and presence. Little less screens. We said a little less screens, a little more just connection. Pat brought up the other day, try to get everybody out for a walk. This would be a great thing that I would support. Can we get everybody out for a walk? That's kind of weaving in a little bit of kind of a movement process to it. Balance out some of the eating in the day. Just a chance to move, get some fresh air. Unless it's like Madison today where the snow is going sideways, then you might have to tough it out inside. That presence, I think mindfulness. So mindfulness is a grounding practice. Just in my definition, in my practice, is like trying to involve all of our senses in what we're doing at any moment. Really brings us in. So like just to think about, okay, what am I seeing here? What sounds am I hearing? What are the sounds? Like you start to really putting everything together because we're always experiencing this, but we don't really think about it. What are the smells? You can do this, especially like the food is here. We're looking at the food. We're hearing the sounds of the food. We're smelling it, tasting it, feeling it. If we're bringing all of these experiences, you do that with a meal, that can help us really dial in on the food. You can do that sort of thing anywhere that you are, though. You're just trying to spend time with people. You do the same sort of thing. See if am I really listening? Am I really seeing what is happening? The nonverbal things, if we're saying we're trying to help keep all of our conversations positive, on track, help everybody have a good experience. Using that mindfulness practice. checking in with ourself in that sort of space. So I've talked on the channel about different breathing practices, the box breathing, that kind of double inhale breathing. If you're really trying to ground yourself, bring an anxiety level down. I'm trying to super bring my own anxiety level down, so I went herbal tea this morning, just kind of checking in. I'm like, sometimes, I don't know what your experience is. A lot of times I'll have a coffee and it'll kind of calm me down, but sometimes I get on a cycle with the caffeine and then it's like, it kind of makes me amped up and jittery. So I'm like, today I want to really be focusing on this presence. I feel a little amped up for whatever reason. Herbal tea gonna help kind of calm that down. That's what I was thinking. And then see, I'll do a check-in with you right now. Like you do that box breathing. Can you do a 4 count on it? And hold. I'm doing okay with that, but I wouldn't want to stretch it much more than 4. Sometimes if you're really in a calm state, you can stretch that out a long time, 10, 15. You can really draw it out. So that'd be a good check-in tomorrow. How are things going? Are you in a flow state? Are things calm? Can you do a box breathing, a check-in, a bring any anxiety down? And then, we're doing all this talking, okay, dialing in friends and family. I just want to give a shout out to anybody who, is in a situation they'd love to be able to connect that way, but for whatever reason they can't. And that can turn a holiday, a situation into something that, you want to be a joyful thing into kind of a melancholy, experience. Maybe you have to work. You're doing some beautiful service for us. You are a nurse and you're in the hospital taking care of everybody and you can't connect. I've spent a bunch of holidays in the hospital and, working, and maybe you're in the hospital, right? There's like extra difficult. But I spend time, my family's off getting together and I'm on the hospital ward and it's, can be a little melancholy time, or anyone who is dealing with loss. I was doing in the session the other day, I showed you that campfire, picture across the lake where I got together with a group of folks, and, how many people were there? 20 people, and in this group, just the loss that people are dealing with, people who, parent and a sibling who had died just in that group recently, and sort of realize that a lot of people struggling with a lot of things right now over this, and so this time, and so if you're having a hard time during this season, just know, hey, connect in here, and look toward the light, like we said, and just know that I see that, and good wishes and good thoughts going out for you in that situation. So here I thought to center ourselves. This is the type of things, the exact, words don't matter. You can take this sort of practice. If at any point over the next couple days you said, oh man, like this is happening, I'm feeling a little anxious, these are things, take a little moment. The breathing can be part of it. Bring in some breathing. Do some centering yourself. Doesn't have to be long. Just take a few moments to tell yourself that everything is okay. Everything is okay. Everything is going to be okay. So, if we're doing like a traditional sort of meditation, something, you say, oh, close your eyes, do these sort of things. If you're in a space with people, you don't have to do that. You don't have to make a scene out of it. So if it's helpful to you now to like really kind of disconnect a little bit, you can close your eyes. You can do some deep breathing. You can also practice not doing, that's fine. But I just give you some thoughts to try to dial in on presence. Take a moment, just do a little body scan. Just imagine this warm light is going head to toe. You feel this warmth kind of coming through the body, down through the shoulders. Feel it coming down through the body, all the way down through the legs, down to the toes. It's scanning for any tension. As you're feeling that going through, are you finding tension? Maybe you're scrunched up in the shoulders because you've been working or you're worried about something. Maybe you can just breathe into that space. Wherever you find that tightness, take a big deep breath in. I'm feeling it even in the neck, just let that breath flow in and loosen all that up. Breathing in, just picture calmness and relaxation and positivity flowing in and filling the body. And then any of that tension that you have in there, just send it out with your breath. Picture any negativity, anything you're worried about, just release it, just let go of it. Then you can get in a cycle of that. Breathing in the calm, the positive, the relaxed, the patient. Breathing out stress, tension. Take a few moments just to picture that box breathing. You can watch the square being drawn, 4 in, 4 across, 4 out, 4 down. Checking in with the breathing so that you can breathe in a comfortable space. No shallow breathing is happening. If you say, oh, I can't quite do that, then that's the check-in. And then you work on it. Give yourself the space. Breathe through that space. Then you can you say, oh, okay, I've seen it slow down. Or you check in with yourself and you see, hey, I'm doing 10 on box breathing. Hey, I'm in a pretty good state here. Once you're getting in that calm sort of state, then really check in with the body. Feel, like, where are you sitting? Are you sitting? Are you standing? You feel your weight on the floor. You feel pressing into the chair. This is how you say, I'm really grounded, really present here, feeling my connection to this space. Your eyes are closed. Maybe you're just listening. Maybe this is tomorrow. You're listening. You're hearing the conversations. You're hearing the sounds. Taking in the atmosphere of the experience. You're not anywhere else in the world but here. You're right here, right now, present in this space, in this moment. Think about the experiences that you want to have, envisioning the positive experiences. The conversations you want to have. You're seeing the connection you want to have with people. You're seeing the food. Maybe you're smelling it. You're checking in. You're waiting for it. You're hanging on. You're feeling a little anxiety. I want the meal to come. You say, we're just present here now. It's not quite yet. Recognizing you're seeing the enjoyment that you're having with it. Finding peace and contentment in that moment, and then finding peace and contentment in the next moment. Telling yourself every positive thought that you want to hear. I'm strong. I'm resilient. I'm having a positive experience. No rules in a holiday, no perfection required. This is a beautiful experience. That's what I want you to tell yourself. I'm having a beautiful experience in this moment. I'm creating the beautiful experience for myself and everyone that I can. Doesn't have to be anything more than that. I talk through that kind of slowly, kind of peacefully, try to help everybody chill out a little bit. But you go through that with any moment that you want. You can dive into a space like that anytime you want. Yeah, Pat says that. You dial in here, you dial in on this whole space. I'm going to be out at my folks. I have purchased a little device that should be letting me use my phone to dial in. I'm going to dial in with y'all one way or the other tomorrow. And so we'll do a check-in. We can do something like this, but rewatch a space. You can dial in just on my little meditation that I talked you through. You know, dial into that point. If it's helpful, just hear the words, talking you through that, and dial in. Stay centered. Absolutely. That would be the flow that I would have you go through, though. Do some breathing, doing some calm, positive thinking. Do a scan through the body, find any tension, and breathe it out. And then use these mindfulness practices to really bring you into the present moment. Get the most connection and positivity out of it that you can. Yeah, I'll be with you tomorrow too, and then Friday we will convene also. Just kind of hopefully sit in a good space, collect the positive vibes that we have had, process the good experience, kind of integrate that into our experience, and then we'll set sail through hopefully a beautiful weekend, hopefully get back on track. I won't even say that, not back on track, because we're not getting off track. Let's be thoughtful. This is part of the track. We're enjoying our food experience. This is the path. Here we go. And then we're dialing in on the other side of it and just keep going. And then we carry on next week. And then I'm really looking forward to that. Really nice to share this space with you here. I hope you have a beautiful day. Have fun getting everything together, whatever you're doing. If you got to be working or whatever, I'm going to be working away, so know that I'm with you in that. And then try to get done early, putting together some good food ahead of time. And I will look forward to a connection with you tomorrow. If it works out, we do a brief little centering ourselves. If it's helpful, and then we move on with our connection. Beautiful holiday. All right, have a great day, everybody. Thanks for being here. We'll chat with you again soon.